I'm thinking of moving to Cincinnati, Ohio. What is the cost of living and how does it compare to other cities nationally? That's what we're going to look at in today's video. So hey everyone, welcome in. My name is eric.sztanyo with Keller Williams Realty and teamstanyo.com. I'm a Cincinnati real estate agent, and what I wanted to do today is do a quick video on the cost of living of Cincinnati. So if you are out there in other cities and you're potentially looking to move, maybe you're on the West Coast and you're like, this is crazy, the costs are outrageous, or the East Coast, or maybe you're even in the Midwest somewhere and you're like, hey, I heard about Cincinnati, I heard it's up and coming, and I heard that it's extremely affordable to live in. Well, that is true. And I want to dive into the numbers today and take a look at that. Well, one, because I love this city. I live here. I've grown up in Cincinnati, lived here in Northern Kentucky, Cincinnati, basically my whole life. It's a fantastic city. And when you start to compare it to the other cities nationally, particularly in the Midwest, but also nationally, I mean, the numbers are pretty outrageous in terms of the cost of living. So let's go ahead and dive in. I'm gonna go over to this website and show you guys some of the numbers now. Okay, so I wanted to jump in and show you guys a few websites out there, and particularly this one called ReadyCincinnaticom. Ready is the Regional Economic Development Initiative, something like that. And basically, you know, this is a site that's pro Cincinnati, but they got some awesome things on here, including a cost of living index calculator. First thing I wanted to show you guys on this homepage is that, comparing the cost index, Cincinnati has the lowest cost index in the nation. So if the national baseline is 100, Cincinnati's coming in at 94, and among the 31 largest U.S. cities, Cincinnati's the number one lowest cost index in the nation. So right off the bat, that should make your eyebrows raise a little bit if you're thinking about moving to Cincinnati. They got all kinds of great info on here, but I want to pop over to living here. What is this cost of living page? They got some really great information on this page. So just going through here, it says, hey, you can live better for less in greater Cincinnati. What do they mean by that? Well, visitors and transplants, they're often surprised by our region's affordable cost of living. Residents can purchase beautiful homes in all kinds of arrays and styles and neighborhoods for a fraction of larger market prices at. I recently had a friend who moved here he was in he was in Oklahoma City, and then he was in the Dallas area, and then Birmingham, Alabama, and he moved up here and was like, this city is awesome. And he's like, how come nobody knows about this place? It's amazing. So just a few things I want to point out here. First thing is the median home price. Okay, so this is coming from the NAR, the National Association of Realtors, from Q1 2017. And it's showing the median home price compared to San Jose, San Francisco, Seattle, New York, Boston, Atlanta, and Cincinnati. San Jose, median home price is over $1 million. A little bit pricey to live out there in Silicon Valley. San Francisco, upwards of around $800,000. Seattle, you're looking at $425. New York, $400 maybe. Boston's about $250 median home price. Atlanta, $200. Cincinnati coming in a solid $145,000 for a median home. So super affordable. And then let's say you don't want a home but you want to rent. Well, how much square footage can you get for $1,500 a month in rent? Just take a look at this. The amount of square feet you can get compared to New York, San Francisco, Boston, San Jose, Seattle, even Atlanta. Cincinnati's just kind of crushing it in terms of, do you actually want some living space and you want an affordable house? This is the place to come. So cost of living is one thing, right? If it's cheap or inexpensive, but what about the quality of life? I mean, you don't want to go live somewhere that sucks. Let's be honest here. So, that's where you should dive into this website and some others, but there's some amazing things going on here. I mean, this site's saying the quality of life is what's truly impressive. We got leading edge healthcare, nationally ranked education from UC, Xavier, our different universities. And here are some of the other big city amenities, when you're coming here. And by the way, so you've got the Reds, you've got these amazing parks like Washington Park, Smale Park down by the river. You've got FC Cincinnati, which just was announced that the MLS chose Cincinnati for its latest expansion team. So welcome to the MLS Cincinnati. If you've been following that at all, you'll know that Cincinnati has a rabid group of fan base that's like incredible. I mean, they're consistently outdrawing all MLS cities basically in attendance for their FC Cincinnati club, and now we're in the MLS, which is super cool. So we've got, in terms of pro sports, you're looking at the Cincinnati Reds, the first Major League Baseball team, the oldest Major League Baseball team. You've got Cincinnati Bengals and now FC Cincinnati, which just joined the MLS. You've got an incredible art scene here in Cincinnati, from the Contemporary Art Center, the Art Museum, the Cincinnati Ballet, the Cincinnati Opera. If you're into the arts, I mean, Cincinnati is really top-notch when it comes to the art scene. There's an incredible zoo that's nationally renowned, the Flying Pig Marathon every year, and if you are into drinking beer and listening to music, this is a good place to be. Cincinnati has a strong German heritage. We've been crafting beer here for literally hundreds of years, and it shows. We've got some incredible craft breweries here. Rheingeist, Mad Tree, Braxton. If you like good beer, you will be very happy and pleased if you move to Cincinnati. And all this stuff is within reach. What you're seeing also here is a lot of startups, a lot of businesses are moving to the Midwest, finding cities like Cincinnati, and they're like, man, why should I spend all this money in New York or Silicon Valley or wherever in California when I can go to the Midwest and start my business for a fraction of the cost? I worked for a startup here locally as their internet marketing director for a little while, and found that it's a good place to work. And so what this is looking at, if you're a software developer, so let's say you jump into the startup scene here in Cincy, which is really growing very quickly. And for 1 hour of work as a software developer, here's what you can buy compared to these other cities, right? So pro soccer tickets, you can buy 4.5 tickets compared to 2, right? In New York, Boston, Atlanta, 2.5 in Seattle. Domestic beers, you can buy 14 here compared to 9 in New York, or 10.5 in San Fran, 11 in Seattle. Avocado toast. So clearly this site was developed by someone trying to reach millennials to move here. It's a little funny. But avocado toast, you can buy 9 here in Cincinnati, whereas you can only buy 3.75 avocado toasts in Atlanta, which is truly disappointing. Atlanta, and they're really price gouging people with their avocado toast down there, and it's pretty sad to see. What about parking? So the commute in Cincinnati, by the way, is really easy. Basically, it's like 20 minutes wherever you're at, which is nice. And you can park downtown with 1 hour of work 14 days compared to 4 days in Seattle, 4 in San Fran, 2.5 in Boston, and 1.5 in New York. And really, who owns a car in New York anyway? I don't know anybody. Okay, but don't take our word for it. You guys ever watch Reading Rainbow? So this thing at the bottom here is actually really cool, and I encourage you guys to jump on this website and use it. It's a cost of living index calculator. So what you can do is compare the cost of living here in Cincinnati to basically any other U.S. city. I'm just going to plug in Chicago here. We're about 5 hours from Chicago drive, and my aunt just left and moved Chicago. Actually, a lot of people are leaving Chicago because the taxes are just getting outrageous. But you just hit this calculate button, and what it does is it takes a look at if you're earning $50,000 after tax in Chicago, the comparable after-tax income in Cincinnati is $37,000. So because the cost of living is so low here in Cincinnati compared to Chicago, you're basically sticking $13,000 in your pocket a year if you're making that same amount. So that's pretty awesome. If you go down the list here, you can see your groceries are going to cost 15% less. Housing is going to cost 51% less than in Chicago, Illinois. Transportation is 20% less. And you can kind of play around with this, go down through each category and look at, how much it costs from Chicago to Cincinnati. Let's just take a look at this real quick. Let's say you make more than 50, you make $100,000 a year. What does that look like? Well, in the comparable after-tax income in Cincinnati, you'd only have to make 75 for the same cost of living. So again, you're putting like 25 grand in your pocket. Let's say you make 200 grand. Okay, calculate that. And basically you're putting $50,000 in your pocket if you move from Chicago to Cincinnati and you're making $200,000 in Chicago. So don't take our word for it. Use this calculator, whatever city you're moving from, and check it out. I mean, it's incredibly affordable to live here, as you guys can see. There's some other websites that are out there. This one's pretty cool. It's called Is Cincinnati.com. And they've got some similar statistics, that you're going to get more than you pay for. In Cincinnati, you don't have to fight to survive. In Cincinnati, you can thrive. I like that line. I know the guy who wrote this, but, if you're in another city and you're just scrapping, paycheck to paycheck to get by, and you're fighting to just survive, you don't have to do that here. The cost of living is so low, you can actually thrive here. So this goes down, works through, hey, look, we were ranked on Forbes for the best cities, number 9 for the best cities to raise a family. We've got all this affordable housing. We've got beautiful architecture. Take a look at this stat. Cincinnati is one of the most affordable real estate markets, more than 40% lower than the national average. Cincinnati is 40% lower than the national average in terms of real estate costs. I mean, that's just outrageous. You could spend $700,000 for a home in San Francisco, and you can get that same house here in Cincinnati for $120,000. So, I mean, it's up to you guys, but the world's global. You can work on the internet, and I'd recommend you move here. I'd love to meet you. So, hope this video was helpful for you guys thinking about, okay, I'm looking at different cities where I want to live. If you need help, if you want to know about the neighborhoods, Cincinnati's super diverse, and we've got a little something for everybody. So there's 52 different neighborhoods. If you want to live in hipster land, or downtown urban scene, or you want to live in suburbia, or you want to live out in the country, you can do it all. And give me a call. I'd love to help you out, talk you through that, help you find the perfect place to live if you're looking to move to Cincinnati, and bring all the peoples to Cincinnati. We welcome you here. I'd love to have you guys come here. This place is awesome. I live here with my wife, my 4 kids. I grew up here. It's an amazing place to live. It's an amazing place to raise a family. And it's, as you can see, super affordable. Cost of living is obviously very low. So, all right, I'm going to wrap this thing up. Hope this was helpful. If you watched this far, thank you so much. Give us a like if this video was helpful. Give us a thumbs up, a comment, a share. We'd love to help you find the perfect place to live and get moved here to Cincinnati, where you can actually start putting some of those extra dollars in your pocket. Thanks so much for watching this one, guys, and we'll see you next time.